Hey, very important video today, I think. Pep Guardiola has basically, maybe you've noticed, he's been appearing publicly in a couple of different instances talking about, what's going on in the world. He appeared at an event in Barcelona, was talking about Palestine and everything. And most recently, he had a press conference back in England where he was obviously asked about those kinds of appearances and then basically talked, for a few minutes at length about what was happening in the world. And that has sent shockwaves out through the footballing world, which is obviously something I like to cover. And I would like to take a clue from Pep Guardiola and not avoid that conversation, but obviously to try and cut away all the shit around the periphery and actually just see what Pep Guardiola is saying. We'll watch this clip, obviously, that Sky News has pulled out from his press conference where he is talking about the issues in the world as he sees them, right?
We had the info in front of our eyes, watching more clear than now. The genocide in Palestine, what happened in Ukraine, what happened in Russia, what happened all around the world, in Sudan and everywhere, what happened in front of us. You want to see it? There is someone who see the images, what happened in all around the world, about the wars around the world. You don't affect me? He is not question about who's right or wrong. Every politician, right, left, right wing, left wing, can, of course, have to. Everyone, the ideas can do it. That, but there is someone here that no affect will happen every single day. But today we see it. Before we could not see it. Today we see it is not something new. Touch something. It hurts me. For me, it hurts me. It would be the opposite side. It would hurt me. It would harm for another country. It hurts me. It's not about the position. So every argument, I'm sorry, this is my feeling. You can discuss when completely kill thousands of innocent people, it hurts me. It's no more complicated than that. No more. I have a lot of people and friends for, for many, many countries, a lot of friends. But when you have an idea and you to defend, you have to kill thousands of innocent people. I'm sorry, I'm a stand-up. Always I will be there. Always. I cannot imagine anyone cannot feel that. When you see the images every single day, the fathers, the mothers, the kids being happen what they happen, being destroyed their lives, and absolutely the people cannot feel a little bit of be attached. I'm sorry, I cannot feel it.
So I'm just gonna say, off the top, I think this is fantastic. Like the Pep Guardiola, one of the few unifying things that exists in the entire world is the sport of football. And Pep Guardiola is one of the most famous people involved in the sport of football, right? He is this coach that has coached Barcelona, he's coached Bayern Munich, he's coached Manchester City, he's coached some of the greatest clubs, he's coached some of the greatest individual teams that have ever existed, right? He's been around for a while. He's somebody that has so much gravitas that he cannot be moved, right? He is going to exist in the world of football. And of course, the world of football cuts across the entire world, even into India and Bangladesh and Pakistan and this kind of, the South Asian subcontinent, which would be the only part of the world that isn't really football obsessed at this point. We saw at the last World Cup that, they're building statues to Messi over there, right? Like this is something and a message that can get through the entire world through one of the few conduits that can reach the entire world, especially considering the world is becoming even more divided. In my personal opinion, is that if you have something to say and you want to talk about something, you should be able to talk about it. Because I think one of the things that causes the biggest problem in the world, one of the things that fucks everything up, is everybody's so fucking afraid to actually talk about what they think. They're very afraid for reasons that we're kind of going to get to, right? But I have always lived by and vibed with the opinion. I was raised in a house of lawyers, essentially, where either your opinion is right or it's wrong. And if it's wrong, I want you to tell me how, not by telling me you're going to fuck my mother, right? But by telling me why it's wrong, like pointing out the reasons that my opinion is wrong. Because either you're right or you're wrong. And if I'm wrong, I don't want to be wrong. I want to actually know what's going on, right? And so having somebody in this type of position choosing that this is just something that they want to talk about, choosing that this is something that they want to address is a good thing. It is. I don't blame other managers for not wanting to do this. I mean, it comes down even to your personality type, whether you want to engage in this sort of thing publicly. Like, not everybody's going to want to do what I do, sitting here talking about random shit multiple times a day in the world of football, sports, or literally whatever I want to talk about. But I wanted to talk about this because it's something that should be protected. And it is, while obviously there are things that are way braver in the world, a very impressive thing to do, especially considering the UAE owns the club he works for. And the UAE is involved in Sudan, according to the United Nations. I'm not just pulling that out of my ass. Now, if you don't trust the United Nations at all, then okay. But they're not, there's also on-the-ground journalist reports in Sudan that are saying the UAE, at least in the past, there's the UAE saying that they've kind of corrected course a little bit on this, was supporting one of the groups in Sudan. And of course, all of the groups in Sudan, if you're not familiar with that conflict, have committed what would be considered war crimes according to the Geneva Convention and have done things that most people in civilized society would consider absolutely heinous. And that is kind of what he's talking about in the first place. That makes it even more impressive that he's saying this, knowing that, his employer, Pep Guardiola has probably made more money than you, I, or a lot of other people are ever going to see. Hoping not. Well, maybe that lottery ticket for me is going to come through, right? But, it's still basically working within an institution that is in some way tangentially connected to one of these conflicts makes it even that more impressive. And I'm just impressed. I applaud Pep Guardiola he decided he wanted to talk about this and he wasn't afraid to talk about it. And he chose to talk about it. But naturally, now there's going to be forces that are going to try and stop that. Again, I don't think we should be mad at any manager or any person in the world of football that doesn't want to talk about this stuff. I think the right answer a lot of the time is to say, I don't know as much about that as I should, obviously. So I just don't really want to talk about it, all these sorts of things, because it always swings in one direction or the other. It's always shut up and dribble, or now everybody has to be this like over-the-top activist because some people that are particularly good at it. And to be honest, Pep Guardiola seems to be particularly good at bringing attention to these sorts of issues, that those people are starting to do these things. But the natural flow of people trying to shut this down has emerged. I give credit to Manchester City, even though he is kind of talking out against an issue that apparently the owners of Manchester City are tangentially involved in. Manchester City has not had any, at least as far as me recording this, by the time I've recorded this, had any clapback. They're not trying to muzzle him at all, which I give Manchester City credit for that. But the attempt to shut this down is kind of coming from other places, and it's coming from, in this instance, the Jewish Representative Council of of Greater Manchester and region, I guess, who have their Twitter account here. This is the statement. I'll read it in full. We have repeatedly asked for prominent individuals to be mindful about the words they use, given how Jewish people have had to endure attacks across the globe. Pep Guardiola is a football manager. Whilst his humanitarian reflections may be well-intentioned, he should focus on football. Manchester City is being let down by him repeatedly straying into commentary on international affairs. This is the second time in a week that he has decided to offer his controversial views on the Middle East conflict. It's especially galling given his total failure to use his significant platform to display any solidarity with the Jewish community subjected to a deadly terrorist attack a few miles from the Etihad Stadium, or the Barcelona community reeling from anti-Semitic violence, close to where he once again engaged in remarks we believe to be provocative. We implore Mr. Guardiola to be more careful with his future language given the significant risks faced by our community. Okay, this is my least favorite thing about the internet or social media in general. They have highlighted this aggressively. It is best summed up by basically saying if you tweet that you like waffles, somebody will reply to that tweet saying, "Why do you hate pancakes?" Right? You didn't comment on a deadly terrorist attack a few miles from the Etihad Stadium. I didn't even hear about that, but somebody stopped me and bring me the video of Pep Guardiola saying that deadly terrorist attacks are something that he supports. You know what I mean? Like this is the worst part of where we're at now, where if you say, I like waffles, like if you sit in a press conference and go, hundreds of thousands of people are dying, and I think that's fucking bad. Somebody's going to be like, well, why didn't you mention these people that died? It's like, how about we just agree people dying isn't good? If we start there and we work out from there, what might we uncover that's happening right now? And I know there's going to be a lot of people that watch this video even that are big on the shut up and dribble thing. But the unfortunate truth is that even though the world of football is a great escape from the shitty reality that a lot of us find ourselves in, whether you are, living in Midwestern America and you just stubbed your toe, or whether you are living in Sudan or Palestine or Ukraine, like he was listing out, and your life has been completely turned upside down by things that most people couldn't even imagine, football offers that escape. But because football offers that escape to the entire world, it is a platform for reckoning. It really always has been, despite FIFA's best efforts. It has always been a platform that has provided the people and the tools and the connection to really address issues and things that are happening in the world. It is that mutually viewed platform that it enables people to do this. And just separately on this Jewish Representative Council thing, trying to reprimand Pep Guardiola, I mean, what are we doing here? Really? Like, it's not, he didn't even mention Jewish people. Now, I realize that there is a construct, right, in their mind, right? And by there, I mean this Jewish Representative Council and other, like I would say, other accounts that would operate in the same vein, where they act like saying the word Palestine is basically a dog whistle to anti-Semitism. And we need to be able to separate things. We need to be able to separate things, or we're just not going to be able to function. All right? Because it's not. Like, I think that if you've stepped up to the point where people saying all of these people dying should, doesn't seem like all of these innocent people dying doesn't seem like a good thing, where if that offends you, we got a whole other problem here. Now, I realize that me saying the phrase innocent people is going to bait some people in, because I am an active participant in the world. I try and keep up to date with what's going on. And I realize there is a contingent of Jewish people that feel like if you say that innocent people are dying in Palestine, that they've got to fly to the defense and be like, do you remember the people that were kidnapped? And it's like, yes, I'm not saying that was a good thing. Right? We need to figure out a way to actually have a conversation about this sort of stuff without it just immediately being shut down as this is ragingly against something. We need to listen to the words, what actually, what people are saying and what they're actually trying to say. And if we are able to actually do that, we might be able to get somewhere. Because I think a pretty solid stance is exactly where, Pep Guardiola's at, which is there's a lot of people dying and it's affecting him. And he is an incredibly famous, incredibly important, incredibly prominent person in the world's biggest sport, involved in the world's biggest league, on the biggest stage. And he, as a human being who is of this incredible importance that can reach this many people, feels like this is something that is incredibly, it's deeply affecting him and needs to be talked about. All right. And statements like this are going to make things worse because you know what? There are a lot of people that are anti-Semitic. And that's fucked up. They shouldn't be. Because if football proves anything, it's that we're all the same. Doesn't matter where we are in the world. And I have been fortunate enough to travel a lot. Like, honestly, probably more than you if you're watching this video. I've been very lucky in my life and have obviously chosen a path of work that allows me to travel a lot and meet a lot of people from a lot of different countries. And that, plus the world of football in general, proves that we are all way more similar than we would like to admit. And it's shit like this keeps us apart. But there's a lot of people that are anti-Semitic that judge Jewish people for being Jewish. Pep Guardiola is not one of them. He didn't say anything like that. Throwing stones at these type of people is not going to accomplish what you think it's going to accomplish. It's just going to make you look like you're not willing to have conversations that, quite frankly, probably should be had because so many people are dying. And death is, like, bad. Can't believe that, are we venturing into controversial territory there? Also, the idea that Man City's being let down. I realize this is not in the top 100 most important things here, but Manchester City did just blow the doors off of Newcastle tonight in the League Cup. So it's not like the team's underperforming all of a sudden because Pep Guardiola is being a human being. I think that, if you are going to put people on the pedestal of Ronaldo and Messi and it's Guardiola and these people that are just massive in the world of football, they're also human beings, and they become incredibly famous human beings in a thread that can tie us all together. And more people should be able to talk about this stuff and bring attention to the things that they want to bring attention to. I encourage people to actually talk about things. That's really it. And if you are, somebody like the Jewish Representative Council of Greater Manchester, you've got to focus your energy on solving trying to address the issues that you actually should be in a position to address, right? Like the same way that in the world of football, if you're trying to address racism, you start by addressing racism that occurs within football, right? You get there is a lane, there's something that the Jewish Representative Council of Greater Manchester is there to accomplish. Tackling anti-Semitism in Greater Manchester sounds like a great way to do it. Going after Pep Guardiola for pointing out that people are dying doesn't really seem like it's in that purview. There needs to be a way to separate conversations about tons of people dying, conversations about genocides happening in the world from other, I don't know. Yeah, I think you get the point. But look, as we careen towards a World Cup that is primarily hosted in the United States, which is for a lightning rod for good reason because of all the stuff that's going on here, these conversations are going to get louder. And I think that attempting to muzzle them in the world of football is just going to make things worse. I think people need to be allowed to have these sorts of conversations about basic human rights in a world where we can all see what's happening. I mean, Pep's right. We can all see it. Happy Football Channel, Zealand. Yay.